So our panel is on blockchain as a service. Of course, we can see it here as well. I don't know how many of you heard of BOSS. Have you heard of the term BOSS, B-A-S? 30%. It's a new terminology that's been popping up in the industry, right? Blockchain as a service. So what happened is in the last, well, 2 years, especially the last year, I would say, a lot of cloud companies, to name a few in the US, IBM, Amazon, Oracle, and of course, Microsoft, right? They all started offering BOSS services on their cloud platform. Right now, it's a service that you can use. And if you talk about China, I traveled to China quite a few times last year, about almost 5 times. I met with Tencent, Alibaba. So Tencent has a blockchain as a service platform, BOSS, and then Alibaba and Baidu, right? So we have a handful of BOSS platforms that are popping up, right? Now, the reason for this panel is to get some representative BOSS platforms. Like one company, Oracle, Anant is from Oracle. His company is headquartered in Redwood City, California, but it's a US-based company. Of course, all these companies are global now, but I'm just talking about the headquarters. And then we have a company from Alpha Wang is from Tencent, which is headquartered in Shenzhen, China. And then we have Hanu. His name is a little long, but we can call him Hanu, 4 letters. He is from TCS. I think people know Tata, right? It's TCS, headquartered in India, right? Delhi, correct? Is that the headquarters? Yeah.
Mumbai.
Yeah, Mumbai. But again, all of these companies have offices all over the world. I guess Tata has an office in New York City, I guess. Tencent as well, right? I don't know about Oracle. Of course, they all have offices in New York City as well. So they're pretty global nowadays, right? Multinational companies. But the idea is to get companies across the globe so you can get an idea of perspective from these companies on what they are doing in this new area called BOSS, right? So that's why we have this panel. And I think we have a pretty good cross-section of geographical as well as topics-wise. You would see how they respond to some of those questions. So let's take less than 2 minutes. My job is to make sure we keep on time. So less than 2 minutes, I'm going to ask each one of the panelists to introduce who they are and then tell like 1 minute about themselves, 1 minute about the company, BOSS platform. So we'll start with Anant, who's sitting on the left side here.
Yeah, hi, I'm Anant Kadiala. I'm a senior director at Oracle. I focus on blockchain and IoT-based solutions. So Oracle, many of you know as a database company or as an ERP company, but we also have several other product lines, supply chain, transportation management, and also industry vertical specific products across multiple industry verticals and such. We also have a PaaS platform spanning multiple product lines, including blockchain. And then we have infrastructure service cloud platform. So we played SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS level. So today I'm here to talk about Oracle's blockchain services, both on the PaaS side as well as the ones coming up on the SaaS side.
Thank you. And Alpha, would you like to go next?
Okay. So hello, everyone. This is Alpha from Tencent. And before I introduce myself, let me introduce my company. The core objective of the company is tech for social good. So in the spirit of tech for social good, Tencent as an international internet-based company currently is with 1 billion user base. We achieve the key mission of improving the quality of life by providing internet-based value-added services, including WeChat Pay, and also digital content services, including gaming and video library, video literature, music, and also education, healthcare, etc. So to facilitate every audience here to know better for my company, let me use 3 keywords. The first keyword is open. It's not because we said we are open. It's because currently we have 1 million mini apps or WeChat mini program, and thanks to development of 1.5 million developers worldwide. The mini apps including e-commerce mini apps such as Amazon and Walmart, and also some hotel reservation like Airbnb and also Booking.com, as well as some car makers like Tesla. So these mini apps, unlike the traditional applications, it really relieves the easy life of the end users. You do not need to install it. You just find it and you use it. Just like stepping a library, do not need to load yourself with installation. You just search the contents of what you need, and then you close it. So it's quite convenient for the end user. A second keyword is sustainability. It's because in the spirit of tech for social good, we actually make a lot of work to leverage each of the developers of mini apps to be able to leverage resources for the benefit of better life. So that's exactly what our core message of tech for social good. And for me, as Alpha, I'm mainly in charge of the best blockchain evolution and security technology inside Tencent across teams. That's it.
So next, thank you, Alpha. Hanu, want to go ahead next, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Hanumanta Rao, short form Hanu. So I head the Global Head of Technology and Partnerships for the TCS Blockchain Services Business Unit. So within the Blockchain Services Unit and in general in the blockchain area at TCS, so there are essentially the 4 types of activities that we do. So one is the services part of our business within the blockchain services, where we are essentially platform agnostic. We have done several hundreds of engagements for our customers in helping them create solutions based on blockchain and establish ecosystems, enable them to do all of that. So that's the services side. And on then we have the platform side where we are developing and developed various platforms, application layer platforms, things like decentralized digital identity, track and trace, asset monetization, assets in common, and tokenization are some of the platforms that we have created and creating. All of this is to enable our customers to establish ecosystems. And the third thing that we do is to work with research schools to push the science of blockchain. So we explore with our research partners questions like what is meant by if we take the MSP of a Hyperledger fabric and replace it with a decentralized digital identity. What does it mean? Things like how do we utilize blockchain for sharing assets for the upcoming 5G rollout, sharing assets and spectrum. What does it mean? And what does it mean if we flip the coin and then say the patients, instead of paying for their patient care, what does it mean if they get paid to get the care? So these are some of the research questions that we explore. And lastly, the things that we do is given the blockchain area is a very dynamic field, a new platform is getting introduced almost every other week. So we continuously keep track of all the platforms that are getting announced, and then keep track of all the use cases that are coming up, and make predictions on out of these platforms, which of these platforms may get used by our customers in the future, and then develop deep skills on those platforms even before our customers start using them so that we can advise them. So these are the kind of things that we do.
Thank you, Hanu. So take a quick snapshot of this slide. Anand from Oracle, Alpha from Tencent, Hanu from Tata, because I have a list of questions here for them. We did half of the work. We need to go through this, so please watch the time here. So let's, number one is done. Now, people talk about, is blockchain being used? I mean, what's the adoption and all of that, right? That's why I wanted to quickly ask number two. Quickly, please give one or two examples of what you have built using, it's in and out, what you have built using your BOSS platform, real world use cases.
Yeah, Oracle's BaaS platform is based on Hyperledger Fabric. We've been live for roughly 10 months now. We have about 190 customers building our 500 plus projects. So Circular is a company that provides provenance of conflict minerals like cobalt, tantalum, lithium, to make sure that electronic manufacturers have the right visibility into where the raw materials are coming from. Then Everledger that tracks diamonds and fine wine and art also runs on Oracle. CargoSmart is a shipping documentation management company, and they have other shipping solutions as well. So they are using Oracle's blockchain platform now to run their platform because in shipping, an average shipping requires at least 30 documents that often go multiple revisions because of human errors. So they want to leverage the power of blockchain to simplify that and reduce the complexity and processing time of shipping documents by at least 65%. So there are many others, but we'll talk to them, talk about them as we go along.
Alpha, you give one or two examples of what real-world cases built using your platform.
Okay, so let me tell you two good news. The first good news that Tencent actually is technology neutral. So that means whatever the technology really provide benefit for our end users, we welcome. And essentially for the second good news is that today we have issued 2 million blockchain-based invoice across Metropolitan. So why this is good news even for the audience today? That's because I understand every one of us actually have a pinpoints because each of you will return after this meeting to do reimbursement of your trip. That's really, really painful. So today, we already issued the blockchain invoice. So that means whatever transaction you have made, then you will get a blockchain invoice immediately after transaction. So currently, if you use such kind of service, it's already actually accessed by everyone if you use WeChat. And so you can get blockchain invoice immediately after your subway. And up to 34 Walmart already can issue the blockchain invoice, and also some other banks like merchant banks, etc. So this is the second good news. We'll have more and more good news for you, but since today we have limited time, so I will not ever keep to the next good news for next meeting.
Thanks, Alpha. Hanu, could you tell us one or two examples, please?
Yeah, so the perspective that I would bring is not BaaS platform provider, but we're users of the BaaS platforms that, likes of Oracle and others, provide. So some of the kind of things that we have done, for example, using some of the platforms, one is things like, settlement of security transactions, delivery versus payment, or, the inter-merchant settlements for, credit card transactions. So the kind of, the work that we have done spans across, the multiple industries. So using BaaS platforms or using tools on top of the traditional cloud services.
So in the interest of time, let me combine the question 3 and 4. What is the underlying technology behind your BaaS platform? And what tools do you provide for developers to build using a BOSS platform?
Yeah, we use Hyperledger Fabric. That's the platform of choice for us. So our blockchain platform is built based on that. So in addition to that, Oracle has our own IP wrapped around Hyperledger Fabric in terms of operations administration management. We provide identity federation, then REST proxies so that there's easy API access for external applications to read and write from blockchain. So, and also we provide different templates for different kinds of networks that people can quickly bring up and go live. So the focus is on developer experience and the speed to the market. How might we add on top of Hyperledger and bring Oracle's engineering expertise to make the experience better for developers, startups, and enterprises. The second strategy also from Oracle's standpoint is we have announced that we are building a few SaaS applications based on blockchain. The underlying, it will be using Hyperledger Fabric as well. But it's blockchain plus it could be IoT, machine learning, analytics, depending upon what that application is, it will pull in other bill of materials, if you will, to build that application.
Alpha, could you tell us very briefly about the technology, underlying technology under in the BOSS platform and the tools that you provide for developers?
Okay, let me introduce. So as we said, actually Tencent is neutral to any technology. And we believe unlike the cloud area, because in cloud area, actually so far we have so many companies already over the cloud. But it's not yet able to solve the pain points. What's the pain point? Actually, even you are next door, deployed in the cloud, but you are not able to talk to each other because the data consistency is still the key problem. It's not easy to make a data consistency for different companies over the cloud. So cloud currently is mainly solve the pain points of physical computing and communication resources sharing, but are not able to solve the pain point of data consistency. So by identifying our key point is that we need to identify the pain points of the real cases, such as the invoice cases. And before we identify, after that, we are able to really design what kind of architecture apply to each kind of different use cases. So that means the key objective is even still sustainable development. That means whatever the project is, we first keep sustainability development as a core objective, and then let each party participate in this construction. It's not dedicated by Tencent blockchain, but also involve different architectures into this ecosystem. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Hanu, you want to go next?
Yeah. So as I mentioned in my introduction, from a services perspective, we're completely platform agnostic. So for our customers are large enterprise customers. So we have built solutions on most of the commonly used general purpose blockchain platforms like Ethereum, Hyperledger, Quorum, Coda, Sawtooth, even Burrow and Big Chain DB. So we built solutions for our customers on all these platforms. So if our customers have a BaaS provider of choice, let's say it's Microsoft and AWS, Oracle, if I look at the BaaS in general, right, on the cloud tools in general, I look at from an architectural perspective, there is a infrastructure enablement layer, and then they have a services, and then you have the protocol stack, and on top of that, you typically have the blockchain services layer. So when I look at the BaaS providers in general, so these are the kind of tools that they have. And if the customer has a BaaS provider of choice, then depending on the tools that they offer on the platform of choice, we've been using those tools. And in cases whether because the customer, because of whatever requirements they want to do the work on-prem, or it's a hybrid cloud and some of it exists on the on-prem, then we also have developed, the tools like, under our Quartz umbrella, Quartz Gateway and the others, we use those tools to integrate with the internal legacy systems. Or we have something called a command center to establish the business networks and monitor the business networks. Or we have what's called a QDK, the smart contract generators. So typically when I look at the, the real world scenario, given any business network, it is going to exist on multiple clouds within multiple BaaS systems and also on-prem. So all our real world application architecture consists of usage of various BaaS tools and the tools that we have developed.
Okay, I think we have only like 7 minutes left, so maybe quickly go through the 5 and 6. So where do you see traction for your BOSS platform, like startups or enterprise or government? And also, what are the challenges faced by that market that you're targeting? Yeah. Right. Let's keep it like a minute, possible, because
I'll keep it short.
we have to have some final thoughts question too, right?
So actually, we are seeing traction across multiple verticals and multiple gradients of companies as well, startups, young enterprises, and mid-sized enterprises, as well as public governments. We have projects spanning across the globe. So I talked earlier about a few use cases. Then we are seeing use cases in financial sector, healthcare sector, supply chain, logistics. So actually, for those of you interested, we have listed many of our customers on our website. So you're welcome to go take a look to get a better perspective. In the interest of time, I'll keep it short. So.
Thank you, Alpha, and yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. So as introduced at the very beginning, actually. Because under the context of sustainable development, actually startups, government, and also enterprises, they are a whole ecosystem. So that's why we believe the traction actually taking into account all the roles into the same ecosystem. And our mini program actually platform, if you look at the website, you can find all the resources here to assist you to develop whether it is a startup or government-oriented or enterprise-oriented applications. So you can just refer to such kind of resources for your own innovative ideas. That's it.
Thank you. Anu?
Yeah. See, our customers are large, enterprises and government customers. So we certainly see a lot of demand from those customers. And in terms of startups, actually, we work the other way with these startups. So we continuously look at, which are the startups that have interesting offerings in the blockchain area and establish, partnerships with them. So we have something called co-innovation network. So through that framework, we establish partnerships so that when we put together the ecosystem solutions for the customers, we integrate their offerings into the overall solution.
Thank you. So again, we have 5 minutes left, so let me try to combine 7 and 8. So, see, blockchain started like 2008, and the core philosophy was about decentralized trust, disintermediation, all of these things, right? But now, cloud companies are offering centralized trust services. That's how I would look at it. So that, and plus, what are your final thoughts on what should be done for adoption and where blockchain BOSS is headed? I mean, we're talking about BOSS here. So let's see if we can finish it in 4 minutes, all three of you.
So
don't speak at the same time. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. We all know the ethos with which blockchain came into the scene, and when many of us took a look at the underlying architecture, we thought, oh, there's interesting applicability in other areas beyond where it was originally conceived for. And as part of that, I think what we are noticing is that what enterprises want and need or could leverage out of blockchain is a little bit different from the original ethos, right? So we could still leverage the concept of consensus, the distributed architecture, P2P networking, some of the underlying underpinnings of the blockchain to solve certain class of problems in the enterprise, especially at a cross-enterprise workflows, cross-enterprise collaborations. So today, that's a high-friction prone area. Even though there are softwares to address that, they're mostly point-to-point. And so now we have a unique architecture where we can rethink that problem and solve in a completely and much better way, right? That's the first step of adoption of blockchain. So as industry gains more comfort and understanding of how to work with blockchains and think about in the context of blockchains, so we anticipate that these coordination games will eventually lead into certain cooperation games as well, which will lead to the next level of efficiencies. And in enterprises, blockchain does not operate by itself. There are other enabling technologies as part of the solution, machine learning, analytics, IoT, cloud computing. So all these come together as part of a typical enterprise architecture. And in a typical enterprise, they're using centralized services anyway, right? ERP, supply chain, and other things. So, so for them, decentralization is not the primary thing. There are other benefits that they want to leverage out of blockchain.
1 minute each, please.
Yeah,
and then I get 40 seconds.
Okay. So for my personal thinking is that for the blockchain, it's actually revolutionized. It's an initial instrument that really make remote trust possible. Because before that, actually, if you look at the ancient years, only face-to-face trust is used for business models. So in that sense, actually the whole history of human being is the balance of centralized and decentralized. And thanks to blockchain, actually there's a revolution means from this year, from this area later on. So the human being is able to share the common view as sustainability will be common objective for the future. So that's it.
So from a, just because it's on the cloud, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all centralized. One thing is, as I said in the business networks, we envisage that, all the networks are going to be fairly distributed across multiple cloud providers. So that's one aspect. So it's not really as centralized as, it is made out to be. And the second aspect is that even if the data or whatever is stored at a central place, as long as you give the control to the end users and they have the full control, then actually it is decentralized. It so happens that you're keeping it a central place, but the control is completely decentralized. You can architect the systems like that.
So I guess in conclusion, if you look, what's happening in the enterprise, right? I mean, all these companies are offering trust services, and as Alpha pointed out, real world problems, you need both solutions. Some problems require centralized services. Some problems, maybe you can solve with decentralized services. I mean, that's how things are evolving, as you see. I mean, I know the blockchain core philosophy was about making the whole world decentralized and all of that. I mean, it sounds very interesting. But the reality is you're going to have both services, centralized and decentralized services, right? That's pretty much the end of my final message for this panel. 5 seconds left. I think that's to just take my mic off, right? Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.